Good afternoon. My name is Steve Caldera, and I'm the President and CEO of the International Franchise Association. We represent over 825,000 franchise establishments, nearly 18 million jobs, and over 2.1 trillion in economic activity in the U.S. alone. Today, I am joined here by SBA Administrator Karen Mills, Lynn Ozer, the Executive Vice President of Government Guaranteed Lending from Susquehanna Bank in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, and the current Chair of the National Association of Government Guaranteed Lenders, Stuart Mathis, the President and CEO of the UPS store based in San Diego, California. So Stuart's all the way across the country to join us here in Boston today. We're also here with one of his franchisees, Jamie Salisbury, who is not only a veteran, and we're going to be talking about veterans in a minute, but also the recipient of an SBA loan that has helped him to grow his business over the last 10 years. We're especially appreciative of Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray joining us here today, as well as Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Coleman Nee. So I would just like to make a few brief remarks before I turn it over to the administrator. We have a program called VetFran, and VetFran was started after the Gulf War, and we revamped it after 9/11. And right now we have over 425 participating companies, including many local companies here in the Commonwealth, that offer financial incentives to veteran franchisees that want to get into franchising. And yesterday, I think it's important to note, I spoke to the fact that there are now 66,000 franchise-owned businesses, veterans that own franchises in the United States, that employs 815,000 Americans. And through our VetFran program alone, we brought in over 2,100 veterans through the program. And as I mentioned yesterday in our event with the First Lady, the Joining Forces initiative that we did with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the franchising industry has committed to hire 75,000 veterans, either as business owners or members of teams within the companies that are making these commitments, and 5,000 wounded warriors by 2014. So we're very proud of that commitment. And so at this point in time, I would like to turn it over to SBA Administrator Karen Mills, and I think it's very important to note that under her leadership, we got the Small Business Jobs Act passed last year, and in there were provisions that increased the loan limits from $2 million to $5 million, increased the guarantee from 75% to 90% to help mitigate the risk with the banks, and the reduced borrower fees. And I think in the fourth quarter of last year, the SBA had an unprecedented record quarter, writing 22,000 loans. And so under Administrator Mills' leadership, it has really helped to be a lifeline for small businesses, and especially the small business franchise community. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce SBA Administrator Karen Mills. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. And it's a great joy. First of all, happy Veterans Day. And for many of us, we were together yesterday in Washington at the U.S. Chamber, where we were with the First Lady. And as you know, the First Lady has made it a point to be very involved in leadership roles with veterans and veterans' families. So we have here with us today, thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray, and the President of UPS Stores. But what we are really here to do is talk about great veteran owners of small businesses. And Jamie Salisbury has come in from where he owns several UPS stores just like this. Where's Jamie? Right there. Come on, step up. And Jamie, thank you very much first for the service to your country. I also want to thank Chris Pedersen there, because this is his store. And I see many of the services here that I need, so thank you for taking the time, letting us come in, and I know the customers are probably lined up outside to do business here, so yeah, that's what we like to see. So the First Lady talked about two things. She talked about helping veterans get jobs, and she talked about helping veterans create jobs. And as Steve just talked about, veterans coming home from Iraq, from Afghanistan, from all over the world, really shouldn't have to fight for a job when they get home. And that's why we wanted to have small businesses get the tax credits in the American Jobs Act for hiring veterans. That's why the First Lady and the IFA, the International Franchise Association, committed to hire 100,000 veterans in all of these fabulous franchises, see that you've got all over the country. But in addition to hiring veterans, we really want to encourage veterans to build their own businesses. Because as you know, entrepreneurship is really the core asset of America. And if we're going to create jobs in the future and keep our country strong, it's really because America has some of the greatest entrepreneurs. And I see one that just came in. My sister's here, who is a great biotech entrepreneur herself. So I come from an entrepreneurial family, and I've seen firsthand the skills that it takes, and veterans have those skills. So when I visit with people like Andy Harrell down in Jacksonville, who came out of the Army, and he was a helicopter mechanic, and he has created a whole company around high-tech helicopter services. And I was with Craig Hartzell in West Virginia, in the most rural part of this nation, and they are doing special forces electronics. And he said he couldn't do it anywhere but rural America. These are leadership entrepreneurs. And we know that many entrepreneurs come out, and as I said earlier, they come out of the service and they want to buy and own a business, but they don't have that innovative idea that, you know, they want to start in a garage. And that's where the Franchise Association has stepped up and said, we want these people to own franchises. They've worked with us. As Steve said, we work very hard together to provide financing for veterans. And I want to just mention some of the things that we've been able to do. We put $1.5 billion in loans in this last year into the hands of veterans. 4,300 veteran-owned businesses have been supported, and that's about double the level that we had in 2009. And I thank Steve for mentioning it. I try to mention it everywhere we go. This last year was a record year for SBA lending. More SBA loans than ever in the history of the Small Business Administration. We're very proud of that, and we're very proud of the fact that we doubled our loans to veteran-owned small businesses. In addition to money, it's not just the money, it's really the advice and the counseling and the help. And the Franchise Association and the franchisors provide that for franchisees, particularly veterans. We also do. We have something called a Veterans Boot Camp, and it's for veterans with disabilities. We've opened in 8 of the top U.S. business schools, and we supported the first of its kind program for women veterans at 7 sites, which is called Women Veterans Igniting the Spirit of Entrepreneurship. So we have a number of activities all across the country, and we just reported to the President a national task force report, the first of its kind, on veteran entrepreneurship. We had 18 recommendations, and they are going to work with all of the folks in the Franchise Association to provide the help that veterans need to do what you're seeing here, which is own a business, grow a business, and be able to employ lots of Americans, including lots of American veterans. Thanks very much for coming out. And Tim, maybe you could say a few words. By the way, I am from Massachusetts. The whole family is here, and we're very glad to be home. Thank you.
Thank you, Administrator Mills. And as we grow jobs in innovation sectors, one of our main pieces is the life sciences and biotech. So it's great to learn that your sister's a life science biotech entrepreneur. Thank you, SBA Administrator Mills. And let me just say Happy Veterans Day. Thank you to Jamie for his service and to all the veterans who are here. Massachusetts, we have approximately 380,000 veterans and over 35,000 that have served, men and women, since September 11th. And we have worked extremely hard to continue a legacy in Massachusetts as being the best state in the country in terms of programs for our veterans, their families, as well as our military personnel. But government cannot and should not be expected to do it alone. It takes individual citizens, it takes businesses, institutions, all to do their part to making sure that we are meeting our collective obligation to our veterans. And that's why it's so exciting to be here with the UPS team, IFA, as they really step up and reaffirm their commitment to our veterans. We know, unfortunately, that the unemployment rate among our veterans is disproportionately higher than that of ordinary Americans. And so it requires us to go the extra mile to try to make sure there are opportunities that are available. And we know that when we can promote entrepreneurship and small business development, that is good for the country and good for Massachusetts. And so Coleman Nee, who's our Secretary of Veteran Services, and our team tries to make sure that on a day-to-day basis we are educating veterans and their families about various programs that exist that they've earned access to. They've earned access by their willingness to raise their right hand and give it all if necessary on our behalf and on behalf of our fellow citizens in the country. So I just want to say thank you. I also want to acknowledge something that significant that happened yesterday as well. President Obama and the American Jobs Act moved aggressively to try to increase and establish tax credits for companies that hire veterans. And the good news is that is moving forward, and this is just another reason why employers should seek out veterans. We know that they're team-oriented, goal-oriented, can-do people, but the fact that we are also at the federal level providing some financial incentives for companies to do this as well is a piece of the puzzle. So I want to thank the President for his work and that of the Senate, and hopefully on to the House and then signed. So again, to the IFA for their Vet Fran program, to UPS and to the SBA for their partnership here. That is going to make a difference. We're seeing it here in Massachusetts. We see it in Worcester, where I'm from, with Jamie, with his business, and it's going to make a difference for the veterans and their families going forward. So thank you.
As we have launched Operation Enduring Opportunity yesterday, which is our commitment to hire 75,000 veterans as business owners and team members and 5,000 wounded warriors, one of our great partners along the way has been the National Association of Government Guaranteed Lenders, which represents all the SBA-approved lenders. So we're very privileged today to have the chair of that organization with us, Lynn Ozer, who's the Executive Vice President of Government Guaranteed Lending for Susquehanna Bank in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. And Lynn, we'd just like you to say a couple of words. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. This is a great opportunity for all of us, and we are so pleased to be in partnership with the IFA. We came together because of our mutual needs. We have money to lend, and they have businesses that need the money. The Small Business Administration has historically made loans to franchises throughout the years, like Administrator Mills had pointed out, and even Steve in his remarks, when these entrepreneurs need to start a business, the franchise system is a great way for them to get the extra help that they need in the beginning. And as a lender in partnership with the SBA, we've been able to make many loans to franchises. In addition, with our partnership through IFA, we've introduced our trade association to their Vet Fran program, which has become very important, and their motivational speaker came to our conference several weeks back, and we have had many banks respond to that and sign up and pledge to be in partners to utilize the Vet Fran program, and we can't wait to put veterans into franchise businesses, and then they'll experience entrepreneurship for themselves, and we're certain that they'll be hiring veterans to come and work for them. So happy Veterans Day. Thank you to all of you who have served our country, and thank you to the IFA for having us here. Thanks.
Thank you, Lynn. And when I sat down with Stuart Mathis, the President and CEO of the UPS store, who's also a member of the Board of Directors of the IFA, and I said, Stuart, veterans, the unemployment rate is 12.1%. It's 22% for veterans under the age of 24. I know you get it. I really need your help. And he stood up in a big way. So I'm going to introduce now the President and CEO of the UPS store in San Diego, California. And he will introduce Jamie Salisbury, a veteran franchisee that is in year 8 of his 10-year SBA loan and continuing to grow because of that SBA loan. So Stuart, please come up to the podium.
Thank you, Steve. And I want to thank Administrator Mills, Lieutenant Governor Lynn Ozer for joining us today. You know, I have the privilege of overseeing the UPS store network, which is a network of 4,700 locations in the U.S. and Canada, run by about 3,000 excellent franchise owners. It really is about the franchisees who make our system work. we're proud to be part of the IFA and to participate in the Vet Fran program. We've sold about 150 locations through the Vet Fran program where we offer discounts to veteran franchisees. Veterans make great franchise owners. They understand discipline, they understand the importance of operating a system, and they do a great job for us. And today I want to introduce one of our veteran franchisees, Jamie Salisbury. He's been in the system since 2003. We took an SBA loan out and bought his first location. You know, Jamie spent 3 years in the Army. When he got out of the Army, he had the entrepreneurial bug, so he started a couple of other businesses before he finally found a great business to participate in, the UPS store. And today, Jamie is on his way to owning 4 locations. So without further ado, please give a round of applause for Jamie Salisbury.
Happy Veterans Day to everybody that's there. I'm Jamie Salisbury, as Mr. Mathis had said. I started my service career in 1976. Colorado Springs was my first assignment. Went over down to South Korea for about 14 months. Spent some time in Fort Devens, then came back to Massachusetts. From there, I went down to California, did a few things out there, and back to Massachusetts in 2001. The programs that you guys have in place for veterans is not only for just people coming straight out of the service, it's also for people that are developing themselves. Everybody that talked today is all talking about betterment, betterment of the spirit, betterment of yourself, betterment of the family, betterment of the government, and I think that that's probably where everybody is coming from. So mine was not right from the service. It was quite a few years after, and MB did a wonderful job at trying to give us the next steps, give us the next thing to be able to be successful. So number one was indeed the SBA loan to try to get that first thing. When I came back from California, I think I had $12,000 in my pocket. So it can do it. It can be done. You take advantage, so to speak, of some of the programs that are out there. You have the people that are able to go ahead and give you the sound advice that you need, and you're all set. I think one other thing that I took advantage of years and years ago, I did buy my first house from a veteran program. And I don't exactly remember, that was quite a few years ago. But at any rate,
we have one right now. If any veterans, Mass Housing has a program for veterans.
Absolutely.
So we would encourage people to be aware of that, and encourage any veteran and military personnel to go on the state website and Mass Housing and learn about that.
Yes. So that was an opportunity for Mr. Murray to go ahead and do that, which is great. So there are many programs. They are for the betterment. So with that being said, I thank everybody for coming. I appreciate it. Mr. Mathis, I thank you for inviting me, and appreciate everything. Thank you. Happy Veterans Day. Enjoy.
As we talked about earlier, veterans do so well in franchising because they're used to structure. It's all about operational excellence, and I don't think anyone in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts knows this any better than the Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Coleman Need. Coleman, please come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much to all of the honored guests here today. You know, we understand in the Commonwealth that veterans within our Commonwealth here not only make great citizens, but they make dynamite employees across the board. It's not only the leadership skills and the discipline and the structure that we like to promote, but we also talk about the fact that and Jamie, I'm sure you can attest to this, that the vast majority of the military is not folks with tin pots on their head and foxholes with pulling rifles. The vast majority of the military is support for those individuals, and that involves quite a lot of supply chain, cutting-edge supply chain techniques, logistics, communications, administration, healthcare, food services, all across the board. And when these folks come back to us, they not only come back with those hundreds of thousands of dollars in training and discipline and attention to detail and ability to work in a command structure. But they also come back with with a large amount of knowledge of the most cutting-edge technologies and systems that are out there on the market today, and can bring that to bear, whether it be in a franchisee opportunity, which would be great, whether it be working for a franchise, which would be great, or any of the other industries that we have here in the Commonwealth that we're particularly those growth industries around green jobs and healthcare and manufacturing as well. So we are committed as a Commonwealth, we're committed as a department to support you, and I know our Department of Labor and Workforce Development here in the Commonwealth has excellent career centers and vet reps that exist at those career centers that can be an access to those employment and the resumes for the folks that you're looking for. We have outstanding benefit systems here to support veterans and their families while they're looking for work and after they've attained employment. And so, you know, just I can't thank you enough for your commitment. I mean, that is really phenomenal, and we are committed as well, not only to driving down the unemployment rate amongst our veterans, but ensuring that every single person who wears the uniform of this country and serves particularly overseas and in dangerous situations comes back here and has the same access to economic opportunities and the ability for self-sufficiency that they did prior to their deployment. So thank you for all your work.
As the sign says here, from the battlefield to the workforce, they fought for us, now we need to fight for them. And that's what we're trying to do as part of the First Lady's Joining Forces initiative and the Hiring Our Heroes initiative with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So again, I want to thank Administrator Karen Mills, Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray, Stuart Mathis, the President and CEO of the UPS store, Coleman Nee, the Head of Veterans Affairs here in the Commonwealth, Jamie Salisbury, the recipient of an SBA loan, and thank you for your service, for participating, Lynn Olser from Susquehanna Bank and the National Association of Government Guaranteed Lenders for helping us to get the message out today here in Boston. I also want to say that yesterday we held 10 events like this around the country, across the country, in various geographic regions where we had our member companies that are engaged in this initiative do what we're doing here today. So I want to thank you for coming, and if there's any questions, we'd be happy to take some now.
Could Jamie speak to the things you learned in the military and how it translates into franchising?
Absolutely. I think that I signed up and I was 17. My parents actually had to sign and say, "Hey, he's going away." That's what they wanted to do, or I wanted to do. They were sad to get rid of me. But I was still really a young man, a boy actually, when that all started out way back when. But I did meet this one captain in the service. His name was Bill Summers, and he's one of those heroes that we all have in our life that actually made you see the seed inside of you that could grow. And as one of our speakers have said, it's not only the tin hats, it's the administrative people. It's the people that go over there and they're very, very consistent with what you're doing. The Army is a consistent type of thing. The service is a consistent type of thing. You're going to go in one day and you're going to be pushed to your limit. The next day you'll be pushed to your limit. The day after that you're going to be pushed to your limit. So you learn that instinctively after a while, and you hear about the drill sergeants going, yeah. Well, there's reasons for that, and the reasons for that is that you're going to react to the commands that are coming down to you. And I believe that this person set that seed in motion for me. When I did get out of the service, as Mr. Mathis said, I had a couple of little businesses, card and gift store, and running a campground type deals. So that also helped. The Army also helped prepare me for that type of thing. You always have to take and tweak everything, but the inner core of what you had was part of that whole thing. Answer the question?
Thank you.
I'll take 4 more, 5 more.
He's getting good at this.
I'm feeling comfortable here.
Yeah.
Thank you,
We'll take you
Mr.
on the road.
Thanks, Jamie. Good job.
All right, thanks.
One more question.
Yeah, sure.
If Stuart could explain how the UPS store is supporting Operation Enduring Opportunity.
I would love to, Becca. Thanks for the question. Now, we're definitely supporting it by continuing to offer our vet friend discount, which is $10,000 off our franchise fee. In addition to that, we're offering a special incentive beginning in January for the first 10 qualified veterans who come and purchase a UPS store franchise. We're going to waive the entire franchise fee, a $30,000 discount. And our lending company, thank you. We're also working with our lender, Franchise America Finance, who is waiving some of their fees as well. So we're really trying to help the first 10 veterans next year get into our business at a very low cost. Because like I said before, we love having veterans join our network, and we look forward to those 10 and many more after them joining our network.
Thank you, everyone, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Nice job.